Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Human Resources in History. This podcast aims to offer insights from 7,000 years of human history to help modern human resource practices. I am your host, Makoto, a data scientist and journalist.
Hello everyone, I'm Jin, your co-host. I am an HR professional and I love history.
Cool. Jin, so the last time we discussed the history of the Mughal Empire, right?
Yes.
And we saw some of the importance of being flexible with your core belief. So today we're going to talk about insights that HR and business leaders can extract from this example of Mughal Empire, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm very excited to talk about the modern parallels. But before that, I want to just, the brief what we discussed last time, right?
Okay.
So the last time we explored how the Mughal Empire rose and fell in India, right? And so we started with the early Vedic period and the arrival of Islam, then focused on the empire's rise under the Babur and its peak under Akbar the Great. And Akbar's policy of religious tolerance, including abolition, the jizya tax on non-Muslims, fostered incredible unity and prosperity. This is what we learned.
Yeah.
But this harmony crumbled under Aurangzeb. Yeah, so he was the grandson of Akbar, and who also reinstated the jizya and fueled religious conflicts. So this in turn led to revolts and weakened the empire, and which paved the way for the British East Indian Company to seize control. So this is a brief summary of the history. Yes, and then, so what we saw there is how tolerance built an empire, and intolerance brought its downfall. Right. So what we can learn from here, the Mughal Empire, particularly Akbar's reign, provides us with some compelling lessons. Like Akbar's the strategy to abolish the jizya was not simply an act of kindness, right? So it was more like a strategic decision. And he understood that governing a diverse population where Hindus were the majority required a delicate balance of faith and pragmatism.
Yeah, because when you conquer some other land, the majority of the people are still not the same people as the people in your country. So I think, abolishing the jizya was definitely a strategic way for uniting the conquered region.
Yes. And then the jizya, this was rooted in Islamic tradition, like we saw. They were even mentioned in Quran. And so, by removing it, Akbar fostered religious tolerance and kind of paved the way for increased economic participation from his Hindu people. So this teaches us that adapting our approaches, even regarding deeply held values, can yield broader benefits as long as we maintain our core principles and avoid societal harm.
Wait, so I have one question regarding your statement, but you said removing the jizya paved the way for increased economic participation from Hindu people, right? So what do you mean by that? Economic participation from Hindu people increased?
Basically they became a part of your nation, because by having jizya, right, they can probably have a more tax, but they basically alienate people. So the short-term benefit, maybe they can get it from a jizya, but by alienating those people for long-term, they will actually lose the very important portion of economic resources. So this is what I meant. Yeah, so basically Akbar aimed for getting the long-term, the return by removing the jizya.
Removing the jizya, what it means is that, does it simply mean, their disposable income increased, and for that amount that the income increased, they were able to purchase other goods and, contribute to the economy? Or does it mean anything more than that, like culturally united?
What I meant is more than that. It's not just about like short-term money. right? I think, yeah,
Okay.
as I said, the jizya, by removing it, maybe they might have lost a little bit, some portion of income, right? But then
Yeah.
by actually including those people, which is a majority, the Hindu people, into their own, the nation, like community, the people
Mm-hmm.
who are part of the community, and then they can eventually get more participation from them, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I
Okay.
meant.
So it fostered some kind of like a sense of belongingness.
Yeah, yeah.
From the different people. Then,
Yes.
I understood that.
And so now I've talked about what we've learned last time, and now let's get into the modern day parallels and draw insights from there. So the modern day parallel I'm going to talk about today is in India again, where the Mughal empires used to exist, and the case is about the famous restaurant chain McDonald's.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You love them, right?
Well, why not?
Yeah. Well, I don't eat, but
I don't pretend to be a healthy person anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been to McDonald's like at least 2 years.
You're very healthy.
Yeah, I remember like once our team decided to go to McDonald's for some reason. That was like, after 5 years. So it's like, it's not my thing.
Oh,
but anyway,
really?
Do you often go to McDonald's?
Not anymore, but I used to go there often when I was a student in Paris. Yeah, it was so cheap.
So
and
it's like
quick.
after you become an adult.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's it's preference. Anyway, so renowned for its beef and pork based burgers, McDonald's encountered a challenge entering the Indian market. Right? Do you know why? They had some difficulties when they first came to.
Well, I think because of the difference of culture, right? I have a lot of Indian friends, but most of them are basically vegetarian. So
yeah,
I guess.
there was a reason behind it, right? Because large segment of the Indian population considers cow sacred, so therefore abstains from consuming beef, and so that's because they believe in Hinduism, and also as we saw last time, quite a big amount of Indian people are Muslims, so they don't eat pork. So
yeah.
like basically beef and pork based burgers alienate most of the people in India. So, but then McDonald's are renowned for beef and pork, based burgers.
Yeah.
So this posed a significant challenge for the company. But then McDonald's understood the importance of respecting local sensitivities, right? And then, so instead of forcing their traditional menu on Indian consumers, they made a bold decision, which is to remove beef and pork from their offerings. So they introduced a range of vegetarian, chicken, and fish-based options tailored to the Indian population.
Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah, this is I thought this is a good example where companies can adapt their core belief. Yeah, and then actually, now thanks to that, McDonald's now represents 11% of fast food restaurant revenues in India. That's one data I looked up.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's quite large.
So yeah, it's like like Akbar recognized the need to harmonize Islamic principles with the realities of his diverse empire, and also we can learn to balance our core values with the cultural sensitivities of their target markets as well.
Yeah, that's a very interesting example. I have a question though. When did it happen? When did the McDonald's expand into India?
I think it was like 20 years ago, or 20 or 30 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been there for a while.
I'm saying this because nowadays McDonald's has always been quite flexible with regard to the core offerings. No, that's what I understand. What I feel, they localizes their menu a lot, don't they? Like not only India, but like for example in Japan they have a teriyaki burger and ebi fileo, like shrimp fillet burger. That only exists in Japan. And also, like in France, or I guess it's anywhere in the world, but I have seen vegan burger, like a plant-based patty from. I think they collaborate with Beyond Meat.
Yeah.
So I would say, of course, they became famous with pork and beef-based burgers, but that's offering pork or beef-based burger itself is not their core value, right? Their core value is to offer people a joy of having a quick meal at affordable prices. So I think they stick to this value, and then while sticking to this value, they're quite flexible, changing localizing the menu to the market they're expanding to. That's my opinion, but
yeah, it's you're totally right. So first, McDonald customized their offers in each market, right?
Yeah.
But then, for example, in Japan, as you said, we have a fish-based burgers, but still we have a lot of beef burgers.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and so still in many countries, when you say burgers, it's a beef.
Yeah.
So I understand that it might not be their core value, but it was a quite important culture that burgers indicate. So of course, it's when they first went into the market, it was not I don't think it was an easy decision to completely change their core menu, core offerings. But then I mentioned earlier, as long as it doesn't, this kind of customization doesn't harm the company's like profound core values, and then doesn't cause any societal harm, I think it's right decision to do it. So in Akbar's case, of course, jizya was important, but there are many more important things in Muslims' teachings, right? Islam teachings, like
definitely,
like pray for Allah and do fastings. These are very important. But jizya, it's mentioned in the Quran, but maybe they can be a little bit more flexible. But then Aurangzeb, he was a devout Muslim, so I guess he wanted to follow by the book, and then he reinstated the jizya. Right, so this is actually what you said is a very important part and an interesting question, because this is exactly what we are talking about today. The customization. How much can we do? And it really depends on what is your core value and what can we change to go to a new market. And if you cannot change it, I don't think you should go to the new market.
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe McDonald, their core value is to provide, yummy food at a reasonable price. Yeah, if they have to change it, like, I don't know, like very luxurious things, maybe it might be difficult for them.
Yeah, like I was going to ask, if they want to expand their market into a very luxurious rich people's market, would they start offering, I don't know, luxurious French course at 300 euros?
Well, but still, like Dubai or Monaco or Luxembourg, these markets, there are still people who want to enjoy some reasonable food.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So I'm sure Dubai has some McDonald's there.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know any like similar case who customized their values?
The example I know is in the field of data science and machine learning. Well, I don't want to say the name of the company itself, but there is a company who sells software for doing data science and machine learning. Their main customers are enterprises, so it's an enterprise software, just like Dataiku, my previous company, this company was actually our competitor, and their core value is that they have a suite of tool offerings for data preparation, building machine learning models, deploying the models to a production environment, and monitoring the performance of the machine learning model. So basically, they cover most of the steps from the beginning till the end of the data science project. Like that was their core value. You can do everything within one single platform, right? But this is the interesting part. So when this company expanded to Japan, they actually separated their offerings into smaller chunks and pushed only the tools related to data preparation and building machine learning models. Like they focus only on the upstream parts of the whole, machine learning projects. When I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, it totally makes sense, because I know that a lot of Japanese companies still do not use databases. Now, this might sound crazy, but it is actually true. Especially in Japan, there are, a lot of SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, and many of them still uses just, for example, just Excel files to store data. And you can store data in Excel files, but not in a scalable way. And you cannot standardize the format, right? Everybody can put data in their own format, having their own, different column names, and it gets easily very messy. And then what it means is that if you only have Excel files to store the data, that means they cannot create data pipeline with machine learning models. They can still play with data. They can also create some small machine learning models, but they cannot deploy the model and run it in a scalable, automatic way. And because there's no systematic way to feed the data into the model and store the result. So that's why this company separated their offerings and focused only on the relevant parts and expanded into Japan. So the way they approached potential Japanese customers deviates quite a lot from their core value. And but as a result, actually, they penetrated quite well into the Japanese companies. When my company expanded to Japan, we actually went. We actually approached to a lot of Japanese companies, but literally all of them, were already using the product of this competitor company. So I think they were really successful in Japan.
Okay, so you're saying that this company, while their core product competency was like end to end, like really from like from the beginning of the data flow until the end, but then they customize it and to partially sell one of the phases of the data flow or data process.
Yeah, exactly.
Which looked like completely changing their core value, but then it became successful. Does it have any impact on like a global strategy, or because maybe this type of customization works in the local market, right? But then it can harm the global consistency.
Yeah, exactly. I guess in their case, it didn't harm much because Japan was a really peculiar, unique market where I think it's one of the very few markets that they had to adjust the strategy in that, scale.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Also, interestingly, so they have this single platform where you can do pretty much everything from the beginning to the end-to-end platform. But it was easy for them to separate because this platform was the result of this company buying out smaller startup companies, offering tools for each stage. So yeah, it was not that unified platform, but instead it was labeled and branded as one single platform. But if you open that, it's actually a set of separate smaller tools. So it was easy for them to separate.
So it's like they offered well-designed microservices.
Exactly. Yeah. I would put it that way. Yeah.
Well, that's actually a very good decision because they customized while it was not their original core competency, and without harming the global consistency and brand, right? So actually, I wanted to mention a case where the customization failed.
Oh, really? That's interesting. I want to hear that.
It's actually in the same market. We are both from Japan, so we know a lot of cases from there. So let me talk about a Burberry. Of course, this is not a Japanese brand, but Burberry is a British luxury brand. But they, I'm going to talk about the moment when they entered Japanese market.
Burberry is the apparel company, right? The
British
clothing items.
Brand. Yeah, it's their iconic item.
Check
is
mark.
Is a trench coat, right?
Yeah.
So when they came to Japanese market, they partnered with a local distributor, and they offered their products at more accessible prices. To have more visibility, I'd say, to Japanese customers. So it sounds like no bad move because this way, to make their products more accessible, of course they can have more potential revenue.
Yeah.
But this strategy backfired.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So because the Burberry is like other luxury brands, they are built on exclusivity and luxury. So that's why people desired that iconic trench coats. Or for example, like Louis Vuitton, they have their iconic Louis Vuitton bags, or Gucci, they have their bag and shoes, etc. So basically, luxury business is everything about exclusivity.
Yeah. Okay.
And sometimes, I used to work in fashion, and currently I work in beauty. So sometimes, the most of the luxury brands, they have makeup product lines, which is relatively cheaper. I mean, like affordable, like 100 euro perfume. It's expensive, but way cheaper than their bag. For example, like Saint Laurent or Gucci, they have their
it's way more expensive, right?
Their bags and stuff, but their beauty lines, product lines are not that expensive.
Yeah.
But the Burberry, when they came to Japan, they they made their actual like fashion accessories and products more accessible. So what happened eventually is that they diluted their own brand perception.
Yeah, okay, it's expected. Yeah.
Confusing their existing customers and harm the very image they worked so hard to cultivate.
Oh.
I don't know. Probably, yeah. Of course, they discussed that. I'm sure when they came to market, but I think people are saying that, as you said, Japan is a very unique market, so don't worry about it, etc., etc. So then finally, they actually diluted their own global brand perception.
What happened in the end then?
So they finally, ended up terminating their partnership with that distributor 5 years before the contract was set to expire.
Oh, really? Okay, so they really wanted to escape from.
Yeah. And then I just saw a news today that Burberry tried to cut. Sorry, I don't want to say like uncertain information, but it looks like they are not doing well still.
Oh, really? Like globally?
Yeah, globally.
Okay. I think I remember the news like 5 years ago, or wait, how many years ago was it? I don't know, but
It's
I
almost
remember
10 years
the
ago.
news. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a quite big one. And especially the local distributor, like we know the company. We've heard about.
Yeah.
I know you know the name. I'm not going to mention it now, but I think this partnership represented 20-odd% of their the local distributors' revenue. So it was huge loss for them. So this is kind of why it became news.
And that's why even I have a Burberry coat. It was cheap.
Even you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like when we were high school students, some high school kids had Burberry scarf.
Oh my God.
I don't know if you remember.
Yeah. I bought a Burberry coat for myself when I became 20 years old, I think.
Oh my God, you're a rich kid.
Like a celebration to myself, It was not that expensive. Let me. How much was that? It's like around 1,000 euros in the current value.
Okay, well that's expensive for a 20 years old kid.
Well, yeah, but I had some money from a part-time job, so I gifted myself. Okay. And then now I live in Europe. Sometimes I check Burberry shops, and no way I can buy it. Like it's so expensive. The real ones.
Right. Real ones. Probably that what you bought was a real one too.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, but maybe the price was customized to the local market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But quality is good, even if the price is lower.
Yeah.
I still use it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So you actually benefited from their strategy.
Yeah. And
but probably because of people like you,
they had to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, it's difficult to draw a line between the right level of customization and too much customization, right? I guess if I have to draw a lesson here is that you need to look at, I guess, three things. The first one is what your core value is. And second thing is whether your core value needs to be changed or adapted in order to achieve certain goals. And the third one is what the customers really want. When you can coordinate these three things well, then there is a chance of success. But in case of Burberry, they failed to understand why customers want to buy Burberry products. And that's why I think the third point is also important.
Yeah, that's an interesting triangle that you drew. But maybe I would, how I interpret your framework is that maybe they prioritize too much what the local people want, and they didn't really prioritize what global customers wanted. But yeah, that's a good lesson, right?
It is.
Yeah, it's really not easy to draw fine line between like good customization and then too much customization.
Yeah.
Right. So so that's why I think it's kind of difficult, or easy to judge Aurangzeb what he did, right? He brought back the jizya after everything Akbar did to promote tolerance, right?
Yeah.
But then also I think it's kind of difficult for me to say he was a bad ruler because given the context, right? He was a devout Muslim, so that's why he reinstated the jizya. But also he faced, he inherited an empire under serious financial strain because his father Shah Jahan, he spent a lot of money on something extravagant.
So when the Aurangzeb became an emperor, then it was already in a bad state.
Yeah, exactly. For example, Taj Mahal. I think you have heard about it. I don't know if you have visited. I want to visit one day. It looks so beautiful. But this is what Shah Jahan built, and it costs a lot.
Yeah,
right.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Aurangzeb was a devout Muslim, but he was also facing a very real financial crisis. So he needed to recover the empire's financial situation, and
Mm-hmm.
probably he thought reinstating the jizya might have been a good way to, like, a practical solution for that situation.
Mm.
It's not always easy to judge what is a good customization, or it's if the ruler is good or bad. The things are not black and white.
Yeah, not clear as black and white. That's
Mm-hmm.
true. Aurangzeb might not be the one to be blamed. He was probably just cleaning the financial mess that his father caused.
Yeah, but I want to add one thing,
Mm-hmm.
like one more complication.
Okay.
Was his father bad? I don't know,
Why?
because maybe like you're right. Shah Jahan led the empire to this financial distress, and then he built Taj Mahal, right? And then actually he didn't build it for his people. He built it for his wife. Sounds like so selfish, to be honest.
Wow. His wife demanded, or
So
what?
this is the thing.
What?
So there is another, like, a bit sad or romantic story behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Shah Jahan built the Taj Mahal for his beloved wife, Mumtaz Mahal, who died in childbirth.
Oh no, that's sad.
Yeah, so Shah Jahan, his grief was immense. And then he wanted to build a beautiful grave for her, to, for her memory and as a symbol of his eternal love toward her. So he literally poured his everything, like heart, soul, and a significant portion of the treasury. So thinking about this, yeah, Shah Jahan might have been a bad emperor, probably. But was he a bad husband? I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Sounds like he was a very, like, dedicated and great husband who truly loves his wife.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this background story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's always difficult to judge rulers solely on their economic or political decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I don't know if he can also evaluate rulers based on the depth of their love. Probably not.
That's not their job, right?
Yeah, that's that's not their job. True, but then as a person, maybe
Yeah.
Anyway, it's really not only history, but things are really the evaluation can change based on which perspective you take.
Okay. So today's lesson:
Yeah.
always listen to your wife and build a nice castle.
Is that what you actually doing for your wife?
Well, I am, saving money. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've been a good husband.
Are you building something? Like
Castle?
a
No.
sand castle?
No, sandcastle is no.
No?
I know it's not about money, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I want to be a better decision maker, like Aurangzeb. Not Aurangzeb, but Akbar the Great.
Mhm.
So for that, I think it's really learning history. It really helps because
absolutely.
we can gain some wisdom from the entirety of human experience, right? Like Aurangzeb or Shah Jahan. So that's why we continue learning history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Absolutely. I totally agree. Well, now I think we are finishing up this episode. Yeah, I want to ask, what are we talking in the next episode?
Yes, so this is one of my favorite topics, and we are going to dive into the history of technology.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then especially we're going to explore the impact of game-changing innovations in human history.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What do you think of when it comes to new technology? What do you think about it? What comes in your mind?
New technology?
Yeah.
Well, AI. It's really hyped these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah. So of course we cannot talk about the history of generative AI or AI yet. Well, there are some books that talk about the history of AI, but we are still living through, this technological revolution.
Mm-hmm.
So in the next few episodes, we are going to gain insights from history about the technological advancements in the past and get some, apply the insights to the modern day challenge, which is how to respond to generative AI, for example.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, we're gonna equip HR leaders with
Yeah, that's an
this
interesting
insights.
topic. A lot of people can relate themselves to this episode, maybe.
Yes,
Because,
yes.
yeah, it's a hot topic.
Yes. So if you're interested, please come back to our next episode. And today's well, thank you very much for listening, everyone. And then see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time. Bye.